How's it going, everybody? We're going to have another tier list coming at you. This time we're going to be doing the Horde, and I am, of course, joined again by my friend Skinny Boston. We both had some good experience with the Horde characters. We found a lot of them to be very good, so I hope this list is going to help you out. I think this is probably going to be the most controversial one, because I've heard rumblings that some people like some pieces, and I got to tell you, I ain't seeing it. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, and as always, have yourself a great day. Bye for now. And here we are. We're going to be doing our tier list for the Horde. We're going to talk about our experience with these characters, and hopefully you'll be able to take away some good information from this. So let's start it off with the Bat Rider. So if we go ahead and we look at the Bat Rider, we're going to see that she costs 2. She is Elemental, Bombarding, Psycho, Flying, AoE. She is a cheap aerial unit that specializes in bathing the ground in flame while flying above melee enemies. She does not hit other flying enemies, guys. She's got some talents. The flame pool reduces enemy speed, so they're in there longer. She increases the size of the flaming pool, which is very much similar to the first one, except if there's just a bigger group, it'll hit the group for longer. And then she can also accidentally leave vials on the ground, burning nearby enemies that touch them. What's your experience with the Bat Rider? Because I just started playing with her a bit today, and it's kind of a mixed bag, but it's not bad.
Yeah, so I picked the Bat up early for whatever reason, and I loved her in that early game.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely just eats, man. Her only flaw to me is she doesn't hit other ranged units, but as a flyer, she can just crush AoE. I know in the Alliance we talked about that lovely group of 5 gentlemen, the 5 cost 4 gentlemen tanks. I've seen a Bat Rider kill all of them by herself. I really have,
Oh,
and
easy work
so
for her. Easy work.
easy work for her, 100%. And I think because in PvP, they love to summon in groups. I think because of that fact alone, man, I've seen the Bat Rider eats. The Bat Rider puts in the work.
Yeah, so any sort of map, especially in PvE, where they are spamming these giant waves of guys at you, she can crush entire waves. Now, where she starts to fall off a little bit is this range that she has. She's got
Hmm
6'5" range, which makes her kind of a sitting duck to other ranged targets, the ones that can hit the air. But she will demolish full groups of ground units that don't have spears in their hands. Where are you thinking for Bat Raider? I don't want to put her too low, but I don't want to put her too high because I think she's definitely got some value that can be
Yeah,
really
I
big.
mean, you can't go any worse. It can't be below B,
No.
but I'm almost torn between A and B. Like I said, I think she starts to fall off in that mid to late game a little bit, and I think for that alone, I think B tier is where she lies.
All right, I'm comfortable with that. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Mhm.
All right, then we got Chain Lightning. This is going to be another spell. This is going to be a 2-cost spell. So it's going to be swarmed by squads of smaller foes, sending a surge of lightning sizzling through several enemies. This will actually jump to enemies outside of its hit range as long as there are enemies close by. It's got some nice talents I found. So on deploy, stun enemies within it for 1 second. I like that one. Dramatically increase the jump distance between targets. I think if you're playing it properly, you don't need to go into this one too much. And then can be cast a second time. I haven't actually tried this yet. I'm not sure if that means you also have to pay the 2 gold again. If you have to pay the 2 gold again, then I don't really like it. But the stunning is nice. As far as spells go, if you start measuring spells against Blizzard, they all look like trash. So I've tried to use this spell. I've had some success, like early game using it to just nuke some chickens is cool. Nuke some murlocs, some spiders. But then as you get further and further on, you start dealing with these tankier units. The damage isn't enough. There's no control to it like there is for Blizzard or Polymorph. So it falls off really big for me. How do you feel about the Chain Lightning?
Yeah, again, it's one of those weird spots, because it is only 2. I think for 2, it does phenomenal damage for what it is. It's something, again, PvE, there's a lot of times where it's big hordes of enemies. It can chain very nicely into that, and give you some of that extra damage. Because of that, I actually run the middle talent for it that chains longer personally, because I'm going to use it as more as a one tap type of thing where I'm cycling through my deck, as we talked about, and just boom, let me throw this 2 down and run. But again, like it's it's kind of niche, in its uses. It's niche in the decks I run it with as well that I've found in the game. So I think because of that fact alone, I think maybe top of C right now is what we're looking at. Because I think the Bat Rider is much better than Chain Lightning. If I'm having between the two, I
Yeah.
think Chain Lightning might have more plug and play potential, but I don't know.
Yeah, so like the Chain Lightning has the unbound nature of spells on it, but the Bat Raider has that. I'll kill that wave of chickens for you, and then I'll go kill the next wave too. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a really good place to put it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
All right, heading over to the Dark Spear Troll. This boy hits hard, and he does not mess around. If you have not put some love into your Dark Spear Troll yet, you might want to reconsider because he can be a one-man destroying machine. So let's give him a quick readout. So this headhunter deals massive damage with savage spear throws. Enemies in the air beware. No doubt. He's got the biggest range in the game at 9. I love all of his talents. So regenerate 20% health every second. On kill, increase attack and movement speed by 10%, stacks up to 50%. Here's the thing. If 3 harpies roll up on a dark spear troll and he has this, he kills all 3 harpies. 30% movement speed, 30% attack, he's hitting so hard. And then also gain poison. Now gain poison is kind of the easiest way to get extra passive damage out of him, but I don't think it's the best use, but it's not bad.
No. Yeah, and that's the thing. He's one tapping so much stuff, if not two tapping.
Yeah.
He attacks very quickly off the base. I think the metal talent again is the best way to go with him.
Yeah.
He's actually something that I believe you can one tap with Chain Lightning, and that I highly recommend insta clapping that thing because the game's not stupid. They put that guy behind tanks where he belongs. He's not super quick until you start speeding him up, but because the range is so far, even if he's running up ahead of your guys, 9 times out of 10 he'll stop and start swapping stuff before he gets in there. I again he annoys me to all hell. I hate seeing him when I play against in PvE Magic because I know that damn guy's gonna eat me. I know he's gonna be a problem. And so I think he's a great unit. I say easy A tier.
I think easy A tier and like high A tier. Real
Yeah,
high A
yeah.
tier. All right, then I think we're going to have one that's not going to be very A tier. That's going to be the execute ability. Um, any spell that can't kill, kind of weird, right? So savagely slice through enemies, chopping off half of their maximum health in one swipe. So I guess if they're already half dead, it'll finish them off. So let's look at the talents real quick. So bloodlust allies within the spell area for 10 seconds. That's pretty cool. If an enemy is killed, the next horde mini costs 1 less. Hey, that's pretty cool too. And then knock enemies away from the cast location. That could be pretty cool too. I wonder if, like in the Gnomerang level, if you knock enemies into the wall, if they just auto pop,
Mm.
that could add some value here. So maybe I just haven't played with Execute enough. Cost 3. I don't see it super favorably, but maybe I'm not seeing it straight. How have you played with Execute?
I mean, I agree. Like I don't love it. I think it makes sense in a horde style game. And, in Warcraft Rumble, you need execute. It has to be there. It's there to give you the bloodlust. Like we all know what it's there to do. But again, like I said, I don't love it. I think it's a niche, a very again another niche thing. I think I put it below Chain Lightning. Maybe even in that D tier. I don't know. Like I said, I personally haven't found a ton of uses for it, and where it really shines in a deck. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the thing I want to do. It can work in some aspects, but yeah, I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, so because I've not found any use, I kind of agree with you. What I will say is I'm open to changing my mind on this one in the near future. If we can maybe find a way to make that bloodlust hit like a big group of people. But as an offensive spell, this doesn't do it, man. If you can't kill a group of chickens on your base, what are you there for? Why are you costing me 3 gold, right? If you're capped
100%.
damage, like, nah, get out of here.
Mhm.
All right, this is a very tactical piece. The Goblin Sapper. Very interesting. On a Sneed deck, this thing is just straight gold. So they sacrifice themselves, they deliver superior siege damage in troops, they topple towers with this tag team 100%. If you get 2 of these at a like evenly leveled tower to your guys, it's immediately gone. So
Boom.
a couple of cool talents. Deploy an additional sapper, that's a complete waste. Like I said, if they're properly leveled, 2 is more than enough to get a tower. Rocket Power Turbo Boots, clearly the best. Move twice as fast and gain the fast trait. This makes the mini work. And then there's the crude gunpowder on death burn nearby enemies. I guess that would be okay, but the speed is king. Speed is king. It costs 2. I love the sappers. I use them in any PvP deck I'm using them. I found great use out of them in PvE. If I know there's a quick tower that I need to get, or I know there's going to be a lot of back and forth, I can kind of spam these cheaper units. How do you like your Goblin Sappers?
I love them. I'm a little biased because I think they're the cutest unit in the fucking game. They're adorably. They're just walking down, little. It's like, oh, it's murder time, and they run up and just. I mean, they just yeet themselves into the great beyond. We'll never forget their names. We never learn their names,
Yeah,
but we love those guys. A little skill though, because they can easily get
one
taken out
shot.
as well. Yeah, they're very easily one-shotted, especially places where it's an AoE tower. You got to be careful, because they can get blown up. But once you learn how to play with them, a phenomenal unit. I absolutely am crazy about these guys. In PvE, insta get something. You get them to the boss, they're insta doing major damage on the boss, which is great
Yeah.
because they cheat the bosses as towers, which is phenomenal. And I agree with you. I think the middle talent is by fault the best way to go. I think we're seeing a trend here of the middle talents maybe being the best talents. This is something we're gonna have to maybe do some raw data pull on. But then that's why we get Scotty in the video, because he's much prettier than I am.
Oh, come on now. All right, so what are we thinking? Not S tier. It's A or B. At the polar
I
end
think
of
it's
one of
A.
them.
I
Yeah,
think it's A. 100%. I think it's A tier.
I'm good with A tier. I'm good with that. All right, we're
Look how
starting to
cute he
get
is up there.
into the heavy hitters now, and I mean that, the heavy hitters. Ogre Mage, costing 5 points. This is an amazing character because it's going to give Bloodlust to nearby allies one at a time. So not as good as Gamache, but he kind of does something Gamache doesn't do, and that's ranged AoE damage. He can gain Frost, he could burn enemy targets, or he could gain Bloodlust himself when Bloodlust an enemy, and that's what you do. So not the middle talent, the far right talent. He's hitting, he's doing AoE, and if he can give himself Bloodlust, it's kind of scary what this guy can do. I
I've absolutely seen this guy just destroy every. I mean, he just eats stuff, man, because of the range on him, because of the AoE, the splash, man. I've seen him just eat stuff before it gets to him, or he gets to him, and he can take a punch.
yes,
The
sir.
guy doesn't have a glass jaw. He can take a hit, and because of that, I maybe first S tier. I don't know. I mean, am I crazy saying that? Maybe high A. What are we thinking?
I think I reserve S tier for a little bit more, but the tippy top of A, the tippy
Tippy
top of
top.
A.
Tippy top of A indeed. And that's the thing, man. Like everything we're putting up there, it's beautiful. Like
Oh
that
yeah.
all that stuff it's gorgeous. The Horde, I mean, there might be a little bias, in Blizzard for the Horde. It might be true.
True. Oh, now we start moving on to one of my favorite characters because she does something that like Tyrion does, which is really cool. That AoE healing. So she's ranged character, range damage, range healing. You can do both. Elemental mastery, harm and heal them. I also like her talent. So once per deploy, place a totem that partially heals a nearby tower or base. I think that's kind of boring. Lightning mastery, range attack chain to 3 nearby targets. People really dislike this one. Let me give you my perspective on it. Uh, Eats chickens, eats spiders, eats harpies, eats vultures. So the chain lightning, her behind Tyrion and those footmen, she'll protect you from the range units really well. She'll eat the whelplings up too, which is nice.
Yep.
So I've had great use there. But this next one, Earth Shield, grant armor to a nearby ally. Ability has 1 charge. If I am pairing her with one of the other characters we're about to talk about soon, and she does that to that character, yo, maces be ripping bases down. So I do think the Earth Shield is probably the best for her, followed by Lightning, and then Earth Wall, kind of whatever. This
Yeah.
character costs 4, but again, that healing.
It's she's the only mini that's not a leader that heals. That is a unit.
Yeah.
We have Holy Nova as the spell, and this is the mini that heals. you get two of these things behind a Tyrion, behind a tank, laying those heals down. It's beautiful. I agree with you that the armor is lovely, but if you're running units who are already pre-armored, you don't need that. Like you said, then at that point you can run the chain lightning, and you're gonna do more work with that as well. I I think there's no doubt that she is an S tier unit, just
Yeah.
because she is the only other unit that's not a healer that can heal. I mean, it's not a leader, excuse me, that can heal.
Yeah, and AoE heal at that, which
Mm,
is just it's a crazy concept. All right, cool. I am good with that. Now let's talk about the the Stone Hoof Torrent. It's getting late, so our words are getting slurred. All right. An exceptionally beefy bruiser that will charge into battle and even charge while she's in battle. She's got some crazy talent. So, attack after connecting a charge, stun the target for 3 seconds. So, it's not on her death like it was for the Defias
no,
Bandit. She just like, boom, you're stunned, and
boom.
also boom, 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 boom. She can, after connecting a charge, immediately charge a second time. So, she can go from target A to target B to squish your target in the back. And then after connecting a charge, taunt nearby enemies. I don't think this one's necessary. Normally,
No.
she's in there alone anyway. Uh,
Yeah, and that's the thing, with the AoE, I'm not the AoE, but the stun in this game is so huge.
yeah,
3 seconds is a long time for her just to be whopping on something, A unit who's very tanky, surprisingly, who can put out good damage, with the charge. I think that's something they're gonna have to go back and look at, because there's a couple units with charge that are way too tanky and do way too much damage, in my personal opinion, and she's one of them. And I love it. I love it, for Christ's sakes.
yeah. So when I think like the charge, my head immediately goes to the wolf. But the wolf takes like 3 or 4 hits, goes down. She's over here taking like 8 or 9, and
Huge hit.
she's charging your Jaina, one shotting it, charging your shaman, one shotting it. She's definitely very powerful. I will say she dies very easily to chickens, and she's
Mhm.
susceptible to that the range characters as well. Sorry, the flying characters. So like harpies just come and they just eat her
Yeah,
alive, and then
boom.
she's useless.
Mhm.
But in your hands in PVE, definitely very useful. I'm thinking high A tier. What are you thinking?
10 out of 10. I think A tier again. Like I said, it's been pretty consistent with the Horde here,
Yeah.
as far as the bias is blatant at this point. Blizzard, we see what you're doing. We don't hate it.
Yeah. Where are we thinking? I'm kind of thinking like right here.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot. I think that's a good spot.
All right, right on. Okay, moving on to the grunts. The grunts, I don't have much experience except facing against them. I've never been too impressed with what they bring, so they're slow and steady. The squad of fighters will speed up ferociously, slashing at foes. So they do have that fury attack speed increase as well in combat. So when a grunt dies, the other gains bloodlust. It's like, okay, well, you're half dead at that point. There's probably been AoE damage happening. You've probably taken a big hit. Remain at deploy location until entering combat. I always thought this one would be cool until I put it on my skeletons, the undead, and I'm like, oh right, that they don't do anything now, and now they got ranged out before they can move. Cool.
Yep.
And then nearby beast allies deal 30% additional damage. Haven't found much use for that either, though. I guess with a wolf, it could be pretty interesting, or maybe with a mountaineer. I'm not sure, or like a hogger deck, but they cost 5, so I have a rough spot trying to place these Warsong grunts in a place that makes sense for them. Have you played with these guys at all?
I have not had any success with the Warsong Grunts. Again, the 5 cost, the 2 units for 5, like I said, you look at the Alliance for an example, right? 5 cost, 4 units with a stun.
Yeah,
Like if I'm comparing those two, what would I rather have? And it's sad because they very much are following the track of their leader, which is just a pretty underwhelming a unit I'm not really crazy about having on my team. Not something I want to have. So it definitely, they were consistent, if nothing else, with the creation of this unit.
so what are you thinking? I'm thinking it's between D and C for me, but I'm leaning heavily D.
I'm living heavy D as well. I th-
Yeah.
I think they're the worst unit that we've looked at yet in the Horde faction.
Yeah, I agree with that. So let's do the polar opposite now. Let's look at one of the best characters in the game. She is amazing. The Warsong Raider. Okay, so this fast rider smashes towers with savage siege damage. Clears a path and she'll clear the rest. She actually is very tanky in her own right. She's fast. She can beat up other units, which is nice. And her talents are great. So damaging a tower reduces its damage dealt by 50%. When you're facing off against the cannon towers or the flame towers, this is huge because it'll protect your other units around her. She can become a siege unit, ignoring enemy minis. This can be nice because she's fast. She'll actually run through enemies, and she'll maybe take a hit or two, but then she'll outpace them, and then that enemy mini will turn around and keep going its way. And then Sunder Armor, damaging an armored enemy removes their armor. She's not a combat unit. She is to take out sieges. She costs 4, which puts her like even with gargoyles, but fast and on the ground, right? I've won many PvP matches because of her. PvE, I've kind of more finessed it with the Unbound characters. What's your experience with the Warsong Raider?
I just phenomenal. I mean, you want to talk about a unit that can take and give a hit. She's up there with the best of them for her per cost ratio is great. As you said, something that is designed to take down towers, like, and that's beautiful. Like you said, it's the AoE towers are the most annoying things in this game on those levels. And so when she gets there, she can absolutely nerf those guys in half. We run in, which I think is the perk I choose on her the most.
Me too.
And yeah, I mean, 100%. I think she's S tier worthy. I really, really do.
I do too, and it's hard for me to not show my bias to PvP when it comes to her, because she will literally solo a tower if the enemy just looks away. If the enemy's like, I got 5 units, I'm about to crush whatever, it's one Warsong Raider coming up on my tower, next thing you know, we're just beating that tower like a drum.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the joys to his PvE as well. You
Yeah.
can have a push going deep, have a push. Okay, you took a tower on one side, then you just boom, you slide her off, and she slides to the other side and takes that second tower for you.
Yeah.
And for 4 costs, she's gonna kill that tower. She's gonna come out with more than half health, and she's right into the boss for you, joining that other units because she's so fast. Phenomenal unit, absolutely great one to end on.
I agree. And are you good with me putting her on this side of the shaman? Because the shaman
A
is the healer.
hundred, 100%. You
Okay.
can't deny the beauty and the strength of that shaman. I think again, if we learned anything, it's the power to the women. I mean, in the horde. Let's go.
Let's go. Sylvanas, wait a minute. All right, guys, thank you so much for checking out this Horde tier list. Next up, we're going to do the Beasts, which is one that I don't know very much on, but I know Skinny's been playing around with that old Merc guy, so that should be fun. So thank you so much for watching the video. Take care. Have a lovely day. We'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.
Or night.
Or night. Yeah. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.